The critic is a mediator between the filmmaker and the audience to help put the film in proper context and to add historical context and some interpretive context. One misconception is that we tell you what to see, and I don't think any of us really think of our job that way. I think our job is to sort of be helpful in the process of audiences discovering films that they may not otherwise know about, and also helpful in preparing people to have an aesthetic experience. We have a 4-star system at the Washington Post, and for me, any star or permutation of a star is positive. It means that there's something to value in that film. So if I give your movie 2 stars, you're doing good. You know, I mean, that's not a bad review. I know everyone wants 4. Not everything can be a 4 or even a 3, but a 2-star movie really denotes, for me, in my opinion, you know, a film that's pretty good. And it may not be setting the world on fire, but it did what it set out to do. A dear friend gave me some really great advice before I wrote my first reviews, and he said just every review should really answer 3 questions. What was the artist trying to achieve? Did they achieve it? And was it worth doing? And honestly, I think that's really what I've been trying to do for the last 25 years of writing film criticism, which is to kind of meet the movie halfway and to judge the movie on its own merits rather than any kind of preconceptions or biases that I am bringing to it. This is a sort of singular category of filmmaking, and it's not necessarily, even though there are narrative shorts, they may not have that kind of traditional 3-act arc that we're used to, or take their time, you know, that we're used to with a feature film. So I guess those 3 questions, you know, what's the artist trying to achieve and did they achieve it, or even more germane in that instance. The shortest films have the longest impact often, and let yourself experience that too. So just don't watch them while you're standing in the kitchen eating something out of the fridge, you know. Really give it some time to sink in and kind of get under your skin the way you would a poem. Growing up here has made me a little bit more attuned to how the Midwest and central areas of the country are portrayed. Maybe I might be a little bit more sensitive to patronizing or, you know, simplistic portrayals of the Midwest. It's so gratifying when people can really get it right, you know, get the region right and get the rhythms right and the weather right and all of that. I think it was Paul Schrader recently said, it's never been easier to make a movie in terms of the means of production. It's in the hands of everybody now, this technology, and I think with generations growing up just saturated in visual culture, they're probably pretty savvy about visual storytelling in a way that maybe I would not have been, you know. People still like to go to movies, and you know, I think there's kind of a misunderstanding that young people don't go, but they do. You know, that's the best way to get out of the house still. It's still relatively affordable and safe. That just seems to be a constant. You know, I don't think that impulse is going to be going away. So I really do think it's about understanding audiences, and that gets into issues of representation. You know, I think that's one of the strands of what we're talking about when we say we need to see more filmmakers of color. We need to see female filmmakers because, you know, there are lots of audiences out there that feel underserved or have felt underserved for decades. If filmmakers and film distributors and professionals are smarter about their audiences and serving those audiences, they are still viable.